Right, thanks so much for that, Brendan. Now, I was telling you earlier on, tonight is a double header on the bench. We've got the Cabinet Secretary for Defence, Aden Duale. We're going to talk to him now, and then later on we'll switch to Lieutenant General Jonah Mwangi. He's the Vice Chief of the KDF. Mahesh, good to see you, brother.
Good to see you, man. Long time.
How you doing? Long time. How are you keeping?
I'm good.
Last time you were here, you were a bestseller.
Yeah. Yeah, I've sold close to about now, I think, 9,000 copies.
Good Lord.
Yeah, my book is the best-selling book in town.
But do you say it is what it is, right?
Yeah.
For the record.
For the record.
I love it. Great read, great read. Okay, yes, there's been a lot of questions about your recruitment program.
Oh, yes.
And recently, I see lots of ads on TV.
Yes.
And in the ad, surprisingly, there's a disclaimer.
Yes.
Saying, you know, avoid scammers, avoid brokers, avoid people coming to recruit you illegally.
Yes.
Why do you go that route?
No, because, you know, the problem is the public. Kenya Defence Forces recruitment is a national exercise. It's free for all Kenyans who meet the set out criteria, both for ordinary constables and for officers cadet. And there are people who, you know, there are two sets of people. The first set of people are fraudsters and conmen who take advantage of this season of the recruitment. So we are warning the public. Our procedure and our policy is that we have put where the recruitments will be, we have put the time the recruitment will take place, and we have put the qualification and the criteria, both academic, physical, aptitude, everything. So don't fall to the fraudsters. Secondly, we are telling parents, for your child to join the Kenya Defence Forces, it's your right, and you go to the recruiting field. Don't bribe our officers. And I'll tell you later that yes, we had over the years a number of our top recruiting officers who have been court-martialed. Some are serving their jail terms, some have been dismissed, some have been suspended. For
corruption?
For taking bribes in few isolated incidents in the past. And this year we want to set a new benchmark. So EACC will be there, DCI will be there, all other oversight organs, institutions formed by the constitutions will be there. And we are telling this time, we will not only arrest our officers, we will even arrest parents and those who want to bribe our officers. So both the giver and the taker must be held to account.
Previously, for a long time, it was about who you knew in the military. Who is who? How has that changed?
Is it who you know in the military or who you know and you can bribe at the recruiting center? I don't think the rank and the file and the leadership of the Kenya Defence Forces, who are not part of the recruiting team, have any influence. Because, you know, our numbers are set. The criteria is set. We are doing it in counties, sub-counties, and in some cases, some divisions. Our mandate is to protect the integrity and the sovereignty of our nation. Our numbers, the rank and the file and the leadership of Kenya Defence Forces must reflect the diversity of our people. We look at the census. We look at rural, urban. There are a number of factors. So there's no way you can play around and recruit one more community or one more region gets more than that. That you'll not find it. And it's something that I am so proud of since I became the Minister for Defense. So even when the Defense Council sits and looks at who merits to be appointed, that merits outside what the Constitution says in terms of regional balance, ethnic balance. We will look at merit, but we will look at to make sure that at all times our diversity as a country is there.
Yeah.
Inclusivity is key to those who protect the nation.
Other than ethnicity and inclusivity, what else is the KDF looking for?
No, of course, there are certain physical fitness in terms of all they know it. That's why they run, they do aptitude tests, there's a qualification, and these are set differently. Let me even, we have got 5 sets of categories that we're going to recruit. That begins on the 28th of this month. So we have the non-ordinary officers, the constables. That is the bulk of our recruitment. Then when we come to cadet, we have got cadets officers straight from school. And you must have B+. And meet
that's minimum.
Yes, and yes, and even certain subjects like maths and English, you must. It's all in our adverts. 2, and those they serve for 3 years. Okay? Then there are those who we call specialized officers. Doctors, lawyers, all this. They serve for a certain period, I think 1 year.
And all the minimum requirements are there?
Yeah, they're there. And in fact, those ones, they apply. They don't go to the recruiting centers. So the first 2 categories, the constables and the ordinary young, fresh from school cadets, they're recruited from the field. The rest of specialized officers, artisans, plumbers, those ones, as we speak now, they are applying. They will be shortlisted. They will go through under interview. Then they do the other physical, and then they go for training for a shorter period of time. Okay,
we're going to be asking the Lieutenant General for more on that recruitment.
Oh, yes.
Let me ask you about...
He's a person in charge of the recruiting team, and he will speak to the country himself and the PS and the rest of the leadership who have been tasked on the 28th.
Okay, let me ask you about banditry in the north.
North Rift.
North Rift.
Yes.
It's been going on, and it looks like it's not letting up. Every other day there's incidents. Every other day there's civilians being killed and military officers, special teams being killed. What's going on?
No, Jeff, be very fair to us. The guns have been silenced.
No, they haven't.
No. The guns have been silent. I mean, you are one of the, I don't want to say it, but you're one of the good media houses that covered that area. The last 2 months, the guns have been silenced. The number of cattle thefts and rustling has reduced. I was in that region about 2 weeks ago. In fact, now what we are doing, particularly for KDF, we are now rehabilitating schools. You have seen me in the region. Our engineering battalion working with NYS is rehabilitating over 23 schools. We are building more health centers. We have opened all the roads. And I'll send you even public speaking and saying that children are going back to school. And I went to those schools. Women are coming back to the trading centers and do business. The main highways are being now manned. So in the 6 counties, things have completely calmed down. But what are we doing? In a week's time, I'm presenting to Cabinet a Marshall Plan for the North Rift. Going to cost about 2 billion shillings. It has passed through the National Security Council, chaired by the President. What am I saying? We are going to have a serious Marshall Plan, affirmative action for opening up of roads in that region, for building of more boarding, both primary and secondary schools, and building schools along the border, meant for integration where the Pokot, the Turkanas, the Elgeos, and the Samburus, and the Baringos, and the Tugens will have in the same school.
CS, hold that thought, because...
So that document, when it's done, you will see now, because that space, for a long time, there was little semblance of government.
Yeah, it was no man's land.
Yes. No, you can't call it. It is Kenya's land. When you say no man's land, you know the meaning.
It was uninhabitable.
No man's land is a piece of land between 2 countries. It's called Bavason. It's no man's land.
Yes.
North Rift is Kenyan's land. And finally, we are putting close to about, I think, 8 new military bases. 3 in Turkana County, 1 in Baringo County, 2 in West Pokot, some in Elgeyo, and some in Samburu County. So that, 1, for strategic reasons, so that we can maintain law and order as per the Constitution within our country. And then we're also very close to the border of Sudan, the border of Uganda, border of all these countries.
Yes.
So that, KDF should evolve its operations. We can't just be in Nairobi, Nakuru, and Mombasa.
Yeah. Yes, hold that thought. Even your mic is slipping off. I don't know what's happening there, but we'll come back to that.
Fixed it.
Yeah.